Okay, today you're going to create a shape in Illustrator using just the shape tool and a tool or a palette that Illustrator has that will allow you to combine those. So the first thing you need to do is create a new document. So you're going to go to File, New, and you're going to name this Skeleton Key, because that's what you're creating, a skeleton key. We're going to leave that at print. But over here we need to make sure the orientation is landscape and then click OK. So now we have some room to work. Going to get our rectangle tool and go and look at the colors down here in the toolbar. You want to double click on that front fill color and make it black. And then you're going to click on the line color and you're going to click on that little button down there that draws a line through it. And so now you'll have a fill, but you will not have a border. And you're going to draw out two rectangles, and then you're going to go get your rounded rectangle tool, and you're going to draw out a rounded rectangle. But notice how there is a line that occurs there. Let me back this up a little bit. So whenever you start, you're going to line that little green line up with the left side of the larger rectangle. See, just when you start, there should be a little line there, and then you're going to end it here so that it's even with the larger rectangle. The size of the rectangles don't matter. Just try and get the same sort of shape that I have. And now you're going to draw one last rounded rectangle, which will become the handle of the key. So now you're going to go over to the toolbar and get your select key or tool, and you're going to drag the bottom rounded rectangle up so that it meets that smaller rectangle. Now what you want to do here is make sure that when you're dragging the rectangles together, you're seeing those green lines again that will help you line them up. We want them to be lined up in the centers. So once you've done that, you're going to go up, or you're going to try and find the Pathfinder palette. If it's not out, you're going to go up to your window and just click on Pathfinder. And these have a bunch of little tools, or the Pathfinder has a bunch of little tools that will allow you to work with your shapes. You can combine them, you can exclude, you can erase the front part of your shapes. You really just kind of have to play around with them to figure out what you need. But in this case, we need to combine them or to unite them. And if you hover over each of the keys or the buttons, you'll see that the tool that they are, or whatever they perform, will pop up there for you. So we're just going to click on this one over here on the far left, and it is Unite. And let me move this out of the way. And now I will drag this combination up to the next rectangle. And we need to do the same thing. We need to make sure they're centered. So you want to see that little green line come straight up, meaning that the centers are there together, and then you want the actual edges to meet up as well. So once you've got that, then you can select both of them again and go over to the Pathfinder and click Unite. Now I'm not going to combine this with the handle just yet because we need to make the other end of the handle. So I will scroll over to the end of the handle, and I'm going to get my other tool, the ellipse tool, which makes circles for you. I'm just going to draw a little oval here, just so that, you know, it looks in proportion, and get your select tool. And again, we're going to look for those lines. There we go. And that's why I didn't want to combine them earlier, because if they were combined, I wouldn't be able to see the center of that handle. So I'll let go, and still not going to combine them just yet. First I want to get my rulers, so I'm going to go up to File, Show Rulers, and that, which is Command R. Now if you already see your rulers, you don't need to do that. And I'm going to right click inside my rulers to change it to inches. Now I want to do this even though I have those little green guidelines to show me where the centers are. I want to be pretty precise with what I'm going to put inside this oval. I need to put some circles inside there, and I just need to line them up a little more carefully. So I'm going to go over here to my left ruler, and I'm going to click and drag from that ruler, and it will allow me to drag out a guideline. And I'm just going to come over here. Well, I can't center it yet because it's not selected. When I select something, it's going to show me the center and on both sides, the top and bottom, and then the left and right. You can see because there's little points there. So now I can line up my guideline with those points. And I'll do the same thing. I'll go up to the top, click and hold, and bring it down. So now I need to make a couple more ovals. So I'm going to, first I'm going to change the colors. I want white as my fill color. And then if I leave my border color as blank, it will still allow me to draw my oval, but as soon as I deselect it, I'm not going to be able to see it. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and give it a border color of black, and we're going to make sure that the size is set to 1 point, and then draw out an oval. And now it just needs to be a little bit less than half the size of that larger oval. And then you can copy that oval, Command C or Edit Copy, and we're going to paste it right on top. So paste in front or Command F, and then drag that same oval just so that it's centered underneath the original little oval. And remember to use those little green lines to make sure that they're centered. And I'll go ahead and select both those ovals, and I'll come over here and unite them. So now we need to center my two ovals, and I have done something. I accidentally deleted the other guideline, it looks like. So I'll get them centered up. And once they're centered, then I can go ahead and click on this guideline and delete it. So they're centered, but I want them to be together. I don't want them to look as if they're separate. So what I'm going to do now, I could make the borders black. I'm sorry, I could make them white. But instead, what I'm going to do, I don't need the menu, I need to right click on them, and I'm going to ungroup them. So now I can select each one again, and I'll just use the arrow keys on the keyboard to sort of slide them together. I'm sure you did a better job than I did. And now I'll select both of them again. I can just click on one and hold down Shift and click on the other, and I'll go back and unite them. So now if you'll see that I do have the two pieces still, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that larger piece of the key up to meet the handle, and I can unite them. And now I'll drag across the entire thing. But watch when I unite them what happens. It doesn't work out like I thought it would. And this happens a lot when you're using the Pathfinder. And sometimes you just kind of have to click around and figure out what it is that you need. So see if I just play around with it. Sometimes it won't even work at all. But I know that I really need to use I can't remember the name of it, but the merge. Yes, I need to use the merge. So I'll merge all these pieces together, and you can see now that I have one complete piece that can be moved around and used as one item. So now go ahead and save this file to your desktop just as an Illustrator file, and then go play around with the shape tools and the Pathfinder and see what you can make.